Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Web 101 information session. My name is Jamila Everett. I'm the Dean of Enrollment Management here at Webb. I'm joined by my colleague, Holly Arnold, and she will introduce herself. I'm really excited to have you all here. I know for many of you, you may be getting ready for eighth grade graduation or seventh grade promotion. It's a fun time of year in the spring, and it's a really joyous time here on our campus at Webb. So we're getting ready for graduation next week. So we're really excited about all the traditions, and it's just a very joyous time on campus. So we're really excited to spend some time with you. I know some of you are calling in from all across the world and local here in Claremont, and so we really want to give you kind of a snapshot of what the Webb experience is like. And so we'll cover a lot of things today. We'll talk about our program, our academic program. We'll talk about student life, our wonderful opportunities to do field study outside of Webb. We'll talk about the fun things to do on campus, and also about college guidance and admission and financial aid. So all things Webb. Hope everyone's excited to learn a little bit more. And so I will hand it over to Holly, who's going to start us off in learning more about some of our community programming.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Everett. Hi, everyone. I'm Holly Arnold, the Associate Director of Admission, and I'm going to get us started today. And you'll be with us for the next 40 minutes or so, and so hopefully walk away with some really valuable information on Webb. So the screen that you're looking at here, this is just a compilation of some photos of various activities, athletics, academic programming we have. We have, of course, our museum here. We're the only high school campus in the world to have it, an accredited paleontology museum. Our students love to get outdoors. You'll see them camping and you'll see them walking on the beach here. And so we want to show you just a little bit more to the inside of our day-to-day academic student life here. So we are located in Claremont, California. And you'll see our little Webb logo where the sunshine is there on our image of California there. This is a nice overview of campus, which I believe is also very similar to Dr. Everett's background there. And it really highlights our mission. So the number one question we get all the time is, what are you looking for in a student? And we really are looking for students and, of course, becoming alumni who really lead with these mission statements. So think boldly, mindfully, and creative. Students who act with honor and moral courage. We have an honor code here that we very much uphold. Students that lead with distinction, leaders. We were looking for leadership. And then service. Service is big. Serving with a generous spirit. Community service is an afternoon activity. Our office actually works very closely with those students often as well. And so that just gives you a little insight as to our mission statement here at Webb. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we are located in Claremont, California. So we have California outdoors in our backyard. So you'll see the image of our downtown Los Angeles. Our students are always getting out on the weekends. We have a really rigorous afternoon and evening and weekend programming that we'll go a little bit into depth later on in this presentation. But you'll see the image of Los Angeles. Sometimes our students are going to sporting events or lots of museums to explore, and they're going off campus and learning many times. And of course, we're close to the mountains. We're actually here in the foothills, so we have lots of hiking trails behind our campus as well. We're on about 150 acres over here in Claremont, so lots of outdoors to explore. And then, of course, Joshua Tree, that's our other photo here of our students visiting Joshua Tree. So we've got lots of national parks here right in our backyard here in California. So we'll get a little bit more into that later as well. And then we produced this image here just to kind of give you a glimpse of all of the wonderful museums and, of course, the airports. Airports are very important to know. But the sporting events, all of the theme parks, there's lots to do in Southern California. And we have all of this. You'll see where the little star is, our Webb campus. You'll see that we really have access to all of these opportunities. Our students love going to the beach or to the mountains. I've always heard that, depending on traffic, you could possibly go skiing and snowboarding, surfing and snowboarding in the same day if you tried. But lots to do here in Southern California. But you will see that we have 5 airports here listed. So lots of international access here to get to Los Angeles as well. And then, of course, we are the city of trees and PhDs. So that's a little bit of what Claremont that's our slogan here is the city of trees and PhDs. And that's because right in our backyard, we have 5 nationally ranked liberal arts colleges. So maybe many of you are familiar with, maybe you've heard the Pomona College or Scripps College or Claremont McKenna College, Harvey Mudd College is a very STEM-based college, Pitzer College. So we've got some really nationally ranked colleges right in our backyard. They're about 2 miles away, less than a 10-minute drive from campus. It's right next to the downtown Claremont area, which you'll see that the other photo is the train station here. So of course that gives students access to going into the city. So sometimes faculty will take students. I know Dr. Everett, actually, I think you took students a few times to downtown LA through the train station here in Claremont. So along with those 5 nationally ranked colleges, there's also 2 graduate institutions. So Claremont Graduate University and Keck Graduate Institute. And our faculty also are very familiar with these colleges. A lot of them attended these colleges themselves. A lot of us staff have actually come from those colleges as well. So we are very well versed in the education that goes on there, as well as the faculty there. So we'll talk a little bit about our academic network later on as well. And then here's a wonderful photo. This is our convocation. This is our start of the year. This was taken, and you'll see everyone in their Webb shirts. So everyone gathers at the beginning of the year for convocation, and this is where that photo was taken. But a little glimpse, a little snapshot of what our school is made up of. So it's about 400 students. So we are 9th through 12th grade. So that is high school only. So that gives you about 100 students, roughly 100 students per grade level. We are about 23% international as well. So you'll see the international areas represented on that list there. That list is always changing. So every year that list gets updated. That is the most up-to-date list, including our incoming class now for fall 2026. And you'll actually see in my Zoom background, it's the dining hall, one of my favorite places on campus. And that you'll see the flags that are represented there, and that represents our students of the countries that they have come from. So we're always updating that as well, but it's really a special place that we all gather and can really celebrate one another. And I know if we talk a little bit about the cuisines that that are featured in our dining hall, there's global stations, so our students really get lots of different foods from all around the world as often as well.
And chocolate chip cookies every Wednesday, which I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to tomorrow. This is gonna be great.
that that is a staple. That's a Wednesday staple. Chocolate chip cookies, and that's something actually that our alumni get as well. So you'll continue to get that even after you're at Webb.
Great. So as you think about the academic program at Webb, and one of the things that I love so much about our academic program is that it's really centered on students and student discovery and curiosity and learning. So we have a very intentionally small student to faculty ratio, so 6-to-1 students. And this is a picture of a French class and one of our faculty teaching. Very small class sizes, 12 students to a class. And our faculty are incredible. And I think when you think about a Webb education, or when I think about a Webb education, it's really about really dedicated faculty members who are experts in their fields, who love to be with teenagers and love to be in a boarding community and really want to impart not just knowledge, but in excitement and creativity and passion for their subjects, and to get students to really think about interdisciplinary learning, right? So it's a really exciting curriculum. If you go to the next slide, really want to talk a little bit about that Webb experience, right? So in terms of not just the academic program, like Holly had mentioned, But the academic program, the afternoon activities, all of that go into a very individualized program for students. And so it's really exciting when students come to Webb because they come with so many different interests and academic interests, like they might like physics or they might like chemistry, they love art. And all those interests are really nurtured at Webb on the academic side, but also to really get students excited about learning new things as well. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So when you start at Webb, there is this incredible academic foundation that students receive. And so it is interdisciplinary by design, like I had mentioned. So we don't want to just teach history or just teach English. We want to teach humanities and learning and writing about English and history together. We don't want to just teach biology or just physics and chemistry. We want to do an integrated physics and chemistry class, right? And so students really get a very, for their ninth and 10th grade year, get a really wonderful foundation to help them with critical thinking and writing and analysis and debate. And so just really incredible. And these are the six academic um, sorry, five academic disciplines that we have. And it's really great because students each year will be able to like really learn the critical thinking and writing skills that they need to move on to some of our advanced studies classes. So for our advanced studies classes, there's a lot of choice, and that's what our students love. And so think of it kind of like a liberal arts college, right? In terms of the depth of the curriculum that we have at Webb. And so if you think about college life, you have ninth and you have your freshman and sophomore year where you're learning kind of the fundamentals, and then you move into your major. It's very similar to Webb, where you have the ninth and 10th grade years to get the foundation, and 11th and 12th grade students have a lot of choice in terms of the classes that they take. And so every student has a faculty advisor, and that faculty advisor really helps them navigate through the courses and based on their interests and their academic adventure that they want to take at Webb. And so that's really exciting. And I would say the 11th and 12th grade is really the heart of our curriculum because there's so much freedom and choice, really like you'd find at a liberal or top liberal arts college. And so students are really excited about maybe taking different electives. But again, it really focuses in on so many different programs that students can choose from. If you, let's see, go to the next slide. Great. So the foundation of our courses that I think is really distinctive for Webb is our advanced studies program. And so we don't have an AP program. We've phased out our AP program and really focused on advanced studies. And these are classes that are a little bit higher than the AP curriculum. And it really involves, like I said, a lot of analysis and all of writing. It involves field study. So things that are not just in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom, right? And so our faculty actually design these courses, right? And so they put a lot of time and energy, and all the courses are approved by the UC system of California, just in the same way an AP course is approved. And if you look at it, you'll see a huge range of really interesting classes, right? And so anatomy and physiology or biotechnology, right? Or case studies in Latin America, right? Classes that you don't see at your typical high school. And it's super exciting for our students because they're in small classes. They get to not only go deep into a particular topic that they're interested in, but they also get to do things outside of Webb that focus in on some of these classes. So most of our classes at Webb tie back into using LA as kind of this like living laboratory. So it's really exciting. So it's not just in the classroom, but also using Webb's academic network, which we'll talk about. So this Webb's academic network is really exciting because again, our students are they're learning so many great things in the classroom, but we have such great connections within the community and in LA. So for example, we have students like Ms. Arnold said, like going to Harvey Mudd and taking advanced computer science classes at Harvey Mudd, right? Which is really exciting. It's one of the world's leading engineering schools right down the street, and our students get to go and take classes there. We have an incredible art museum at Pomona College where students can work in the art department there or an entrepreneurship program at CMC. So really utilizing our network at the Claremont colleges, same for organic chemistry, and also at the graduate program there in pharmaceutical research. So students will get to do that over the summer. And then we also have a program at UC Riverside with professors there where students take the advanced biotechnology class and they're able to do research in the biotech labs there. And so it's really an exciting opportunity opportunity for students to work with professors that are leading in their fields and alongside the classes they're taking at Webb in their junior and senior years. And so I mentioned field study, and Miss Arnold talked about how wonderful and exciting it is to go out into LA for fun on the weekends. And as a boarding student, that is something that our students do quite a bit. But we also view Southern California as this exciting, like I mentioned, academic arm for Webb. And we have a director of experimental learning who really connects with all of our faculty to give students exciting opportunities in LA to study beyond the classroom. So this is just a short list of some of the places that our students go during the academic day. And it's really exciting because they're able to do like real research or real world learning. For example, the LA County Fair, I'm sure and many of our local students might have gone to the LA County Fair. It's happening right now. But, our students are able to go there and study physics and study roller coasters, right? And the physics of roller coasters, right? So they're actually doing some really fun work, bringing the curriculum alive. And so these are some examples. NASA's JPL as well. And so it's really great. I think our students really enjoy the opportunity to get beyond Webb and to really go into hands-on projects.
Okay. So leading into our Wong Innovation Wing, so that has been here with Webb for I think about a year and a half now. We opened the Innovation Wing, and we're really bringing innovation to the forefront here at Webb. And so this is a few images here. We have a new tech and innovation seminar course that our
Mm,
students can take. And I've actually worked closely
mm,
with that course. They actually they did like a business project and created a product actually for the admission team here that we have in all of our offices. Um, and and so it kind of meshed together tech and innovation with business, the one project that we worked on. But a few of these, you'll see an image of a student working on a project there. And then the bottom photo is actually a photo taken from our library space. So it has 3D printers there. That white fixture that's our robotic arm. And it actually I know one of the fun things is that it sorts Legos, so it can identify colors and it sorts Legos. That's just one of the many things that it does. And then there's a sound booth you'll see there in the back as well. So our students are really into, maybe you need to record something. Maybe our students, of course, love like podcasts these days. But you can rent out that space. And you don't have to be a part of that tech seminar course to be in this space. You just have to go through the proper training to utilize the machines, and then you can be in that space. So you don't have to be taking a course to actually utilize these products. You just go through the simple training, and then you would be able to go into the space, which is in our Fawcett Library. So any student can take advantage of utilizing that. And then, of course, we have this larger image here is of our robotics lab. So that's in the space that's actually also in the library, but in the bottom part of the library that you can access from outside as well. So that's our robotics lab there. And then going further into just the innovation at Webb, we have what's called the AI project. So our students volunteer to be a part of this project. And we've brought in some really amazing speakers over the years. And this is just a small glimpse of some of them that have come to campus. There's Kevin Roos, you'll see there. He's an award-winning New York Times columnist and author and podcaster. So he did an incredible talk with not only the students, but then he also met separately with the faculty to just kind of talk about AI and the learning environment and where academics are going, what the future is there.
mm,
So he's actually in that photo there with our students in front of our Huang Innovation Wing there. And then we had Dr. Phoebe. She's from the USC Center in AI and Society. She came and spoke to campus as well. And her focus was, she's talked about utilizing AI to combat homelessness in Los Angeles County, which is really important. So
mm.
both really interesting in the way that they utilize AI and how they brought that to speaking to our audience here, the Webb community. And then, of course, we have our very own Web GPT. So you've heard of Chat GPT. We have our own Web GPT. And this was actually created by one of our alumni here. And it's very similar to ChatGPT. It's on a Claude. You'll see the 4.6 base there. And so it's really, we're bringing innovation to students to really enhance how to safely and properly utilize these tools in an educational setting. And so it's very helpful, I think, utilizing and learning how to use this in a natural way that's a healthy way in learning space because it's not going anywhere. So we're trying to get in front of that. And the faculty, the staff, the students, we all have logins for this. And we've actually been able to utilize this. Our students have worked on in the tech seminar course. And even we had a student recently that was in a literature course actually be able to utilize WebGPT for some of their innovative their projects that they're working on. So really cool stuff.
Mhm.
And that's always, I know that's always being, upgraded as well. So constantly being worked on. And then, of course, we have our Bluebird Aerospace group. So this is one of our clubs here on campus. This is our rocketry club. And so it's really impressive that a high school team has a rocket club. And this is a photo taken from one of their rocket launches that they had. And then you'll see the image there. That is of the team there. So it's made up of a group of our students. They actually just did, they were doing some practice out on our Centennial field over the weekend. If you follow us on Instagram, they did some posts there, still up there if you want to check that out. So they're always, they always send out to the community like that we're going to be working on this in this area. So if you ever want to come check it out, but you can definitely follow them on Instagram. They've got some really cool stuff there. They've got some videos, and they're always it's always really interesting the innovative things that they're working on there. So
Mhm. So you might be thinking, okay, I love rocketry, or maybe you are like scared of rocketry and you want to try other activities, right? There's so much to do at Webb. And I know when we're out recruiting, one of the things that we always get asked, like, what is your favorite thing about Webb, right? And I love the idea that, we are this really dynamic boarding school community, with the 400 students that live here. It's a 24/7 community, right? And, we talked about the academic program and how we're really building power learners and nimble students. But it's also very exciting because there's always so much to do on campus too, right? And our students bring so many interests to campus, and there's also so much to do. And so students here, they work really hard and they have so many fun activities that they can do as well. And so we wanted to kind of give you a highlight of some of the things that students do, after school. So we didn't really talk about the academic schedule, but typically students are taking, 3 academic classes a day. We have a block schedule, right? And those are 80-minute classes. They start, we go into the dining hall for breakfast where Miss Arnold is. They have really good breakfast. And then you start class at 8:30. And then in between, you may have a chapel talk or you may have office hours with your teacher. And then you go to another class and you have lunch and then you have another class and it cycles those 5 or 6 classes throughout the week. So it's really exciting because you could have a math class one day and then you could have your English class the next day, right? So it keeps it really exciting. And then in the afternoon from about 2:30 or 3 to 5 or 4:30, depending on the day, you have something called afternoon activities. And so this is every day, Monday through Friday, and students have so much to choose from. So we've listed some here, and so maybe you're kind of drawn to something on here like robotics or science fair research, but it's such a range of things that students can do. And so from art studio to musical theater, we just had our big production. I think that's picture of it up there. Yes, that was last weekend. We also have robotics. Our robotics team is doing quite well. We have three robotics teams, and our team just went to the international robotics competition. It was very exciting. And then we also have a really cool science fair research afternoon program for our scientists on campus who really want to create their own project. They can be mentored by our science chair, department chair, and write up a proposal that will take students to the California Science Fair or and even beyond that, right? And so many really cool things. Yesterday, our literary magazine just came out with the latest edition. Our literary magazine is called Breakfast, so you can check that out online. Really cool, really beautiful poems and artwork from students too. So, such a range that students can decide to do in the afternoon. So, you can pick between an afternoon activity or on the next slide, we have athletics as well. So every student at Webb plays a sport while they're here, which is very exciting. And so we have such a range of athletes at Webb, right? We have many, many students that come into Webb at a very high level in their sport and they want to continue that at a high level. And it's absolutely possible to do that. We have 15 different teams, sports, and then 42 different teams. And so lots of different levels for students to try a new sport or continue on in the sport that they've been doing for many years at a high level. And so it's really exciting for students to come in. And we have lots of, I think being in a boarding school community, you see a lot of 3 and 4 sport athletes, which I think is really incredible. You see here, we have actually two of our championship teams here. We have our girls soccer team that this is a great picture. It's one of my favorite pictures this year. Who won the CIF championship this year. It's very exciting. And then our golf team, our boys golf team, we just got word a couple days ago that they are the division champs. So very, very exciting. And 90% of all of our athletic sports teams this year went to the CIF. Or postseason play. So a very competitive athletic program. We also just, if for those of you that are coming to campus this fall or have already been on campus or coming soon, we also just recently renovated our gym on campus. So it's a beautiful gym and space for students and not only for sports, but for fun rallies and things that we do on campus. But I think with the sports program, what I love so much about it is that, it's a lot of school spirit. We have students that come out to all the games and get excited in the stands. And, it's just a very exciting time for students when they do their sports. These are this is all this year, some photos of just student life. I think being part of a boarding school community is that there's a lot of things to do, like I talked about, but there's also a lot of downtime as well and fun times with your friends in the dorms or on outside adventures. The chapel program is one thing that I love. And if you see that picture, the student holding the flowers, those are all her friends who came out to support her current Web students when she gave her chapel talk. And Jaden's actually one of our student ambassadors, fellows here. She gave a lovely talk. And a chapel talk program is a cornerstone of the student experience where every senior will give a very meaningful talk. Usually it's about a 30-minute talk in our beautiful chapel that they write themselves. And really they can talk about anything they like. It could be something meaningful in their lives, some wisdom they want to depart to the current students. So freshmen through seniors are all in the space, listening intently to the knowledge that the student will give. And it's really nice because it's very heartfelt, right? And it's a beautiful tradition at Webb that we have, and it brings the whole community together. Students spend a lot of time writing these remarks. They play their favorite songs when they walk out. It's just a really beautiful experience. And we have we also have like lots of student clubs at Webb. So for those of you that have clubs at your school now, or you want to start a club, you can do that at Webb. If you think about it, we have a lot of clubs. We have 92 student-run clubs at Webb. So we have 400 students. So for you mathematicians, you can do the math on that, but the percentage is quite high. And lots of different clubs, athletic clubs, cultural clubs, clubs based on interests. And so lots of things. The VR game design is quite interesting. We have a tea club. So you will find a club at Webb that you'd like to do, or you can start your own club too in the fall. So lots to do there. And so one of the things that I think if you think about the totality of a web education, right? We are at the heart really training and empowering students for their future, right? You come to Web, you have an incredible experience, you have great education, wonderful teachers that are really helping to mentor you, so many opportunities to, to really pursue the things that you're really interested in doing, individual projects, group projects. So you really get this really fulfilling experience. And then you also are really prepared for when you go into the world, right? And so that's what we're trying to do is really think about the future of learning and collaboration and how we're preparing students for, as what we know, a very changing world, right? And so we do that in so many ways. I think this is a picture of actually our honor council, right? And so our students who are really at the highest level of our community and making sure students come out and understand the importance of leadership and moral courage. And then we also have students that are also obviously looking at top colleges as well. So if you look at our college guidance program at Webb, I think it's incredible program. It's led by Mr. Martinez, who is our college dean of college guidance. He's been at Webb for almost 30 years, and he's routinely cited by the LA Times and national publications for information on college access and college trends. And you find that the college program, really helps prepare students to think about what's next after Webb, right? 90% of our students go on to a top 10% college in the United States. This is a list of the top 40 colleges that our students matriculate to the most. And if you really think about it, I always think about this because, we have such incredible seniors. We have about 100 seniors each year that graduate. And so just to give you a sample of that, for the 100 students that are graduating this year, we have 4 that are going to Stanford. We have 21 that are actually going to USC, 16, I mean, admitted, I'm sorry, 16 to NYU. And so really incredible, right? When you think about how incredible that is given our size, right? With only 100 students, right? We have about 150 college directors from all across the US that come to visit our students every year and give information about college. And so it's a great program.
All right. And so maybe you're on this call and you're maybe in 5th or 6th grade or 7th grade. And so we do have a program. It's called our Junior Scholars Summer Program. And that's our summer program that is for our rising 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. So this happens every July. We have 2 sessions that are offered. So there's kind of they're 10-day program. So it's usually a 10-day program, typically starting like right after the 4th of July. And then there's another 10-day program after that. We do have a bridge program if you're interested in doing both of them back to back, and spending most of the month of July here with us here at Webb. But our summer program, we have 5 different tracks offered. So of course, as I mentioned in the very beginning, we are the only high school campus in the world that has an accredited paleontology museum. So of course we have to offer a paleontology track for our junior scholars. That is a really popular one. Our students really love it. You'll actually see our students down there in the photo at another museum. And so really exploring paleontology is such a fun track for students. And then of course we have our science and engineering track that we offer as well that's very popular. How to be creative, I believe that was new last year. So maybe it's now going into its 2nd year, I believe. So really fun as well for our creative students. And then our global change makers track as well as medical science. So some really fun different ones. Of course, again, we have the bridge program. If someone wanted to do 2 tracks, they can do that. I know that for this summer, that they do still have a few openings left in a few of the programs. So if you're still interested, check out that web.org /summer. But of course, again, we offer this each year. So next year as well, and next summer 2027 as well. And so it is a program where you will say goodbye to your student for 10 days. They will live here, so they won't be coming home for the 10 days, but they're going to have so much fun. They eat in our dining hall. They go on lots of different explorations within Los Angeles and within our campus here. They get to board in the dorms, which is a really cool opportunity. They get a roommate and they really enjoy this sleepaway program that includes, just like our academic programming, the afternoon and evening activities. They also get to experience those things as well. So all of these photos are taken from the different tracks that we offer. So fun summer program to check out. And then we've been talking for the past 40 minutes or so. So we have a few more slides to wrap up, but as you've been listening to Dr. Everett and I, maybe you've been thinking about what you would bring to Webb. So out of all of the offerings of the athletics and the afternoon activities and the special traditions that we have here, hopefully that has inspired you and brought light to what you're thinking about you would bring to Webb, what you would be involved in, and maybe wanting to visit our campus at a future date to really find out how this campus fits into your academic future. So we'd love to have you. And we have a few steps that we want to go over. Of course, we will have many more programming to come this fall. We'll go more in depth into really the application process itself. We'll do some of those. We'll have more in-person events that we'll talk about, but to just give you a brief overview of the admission process, maybe you've already filled out this inquiry form. If you have not, we really do highly encourage you to complete the online inquiry form, and that's how you're going to be informed of certain deadlines, certain virtual and in-person events that we have, and some fun kind of just highlights happening at Webb we'll send out every now and then. So that's webb.org/inquire. So that's the first step. And then in the applications, I believe, will open at the end of summer, early fall. So look out for that. And that is if you're applying this fall for fall 2027. So if you are currently in 7th grade and you're going to be in 8th grade in the fall, that is when you would want to apply. If you're coming in for 9th grade, we do accept for 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. We do accept applicants. And so in the fall time, you'll want to maybe around the September timeframe, you'll want to schedule your interview. It's not mandatory, but we do highly recommend it. So we do offer in-person or Zoom interviews. And you'll see on the right side of the screen, you have until January 15th to complete that interview. So we will schedule them all the way until January 15th. All of our application materials do go through what is called Gateway to Prep Schools. So that is where you'll find the application. And all of this is on our website as well. And so there's the link to Gateway to Prep there. But a little bit about the application. There's a short application profile, so standard questions that the family will answer. And then there is student short answers as well. So those are going more in depth as we learn about the students and their interests and challenges that they faced and all sorts of things like that. And then, of course, there's a parent statement. So short parent answers as well. And then later in the fall, you'll want to inform your teachers for recommendation letters. So we do require current English. So say they're going into 8th grade. So that will be their 8th grade English teacher. So current English, current math, and then a principal or counselor. And then there are optional additional recommendation letter as well. But those are the required documents. And then transcripts of the current and the previous year we do require. And then another item is completing the English proficiency test. So if you have not attended a primarily English speaking institution for the past 2 years, then we would require you to submit an English proficiency test. So we accept the TOEFL, Duolingo, IELTS. So you can reach out to us if you have any questions about that testing as well. And then a big question we get a lot is, do you have standardized testing requirements? And we do not, no. So we do not have standardized testing requirements for our applicants. So again, the deadline for all of this information to be submitted to us would be January 15th, 2027. So quite a ways from now. And then deadline to complete that interview as well as the same date. And then all of our decision notifications do go out on March 10th. So that would be March 10th, 2027. And then I know Dr. Everett will talk a little bit about the
Yeah.
financial aid process. And I don't see any questions in the chat. If there are, please do submit them. But
Yep.
we'll definitely follow up with how to get in touch with us as well.
Yeah. So for families who are interested in applying for financial aid, we go through a third party organization called Clarity, and Clarity is great. So you can complete your financial aid application through Clarity, and it really takes about 30 minutes max. It's not like doing your taxes. It's not too long, and it collects information on your income and any expenses that you have monthly, and the level of investment that you're able to comfortably make each month too. And so that information gets then computed to our and given to our financial aid committee, which is separate from our admission committee, who makes determinations on financial aid awards. And so, we offer each year a little over $7 million in need-based financial aid. And so we do not offer merit scholarships or athletic scholarships, but we do want to make sure that the ability to pay is not a barrier for the education at Webb. It is an investment, but we also really want to be mindful for families who, really want to be at Webb, and, we have the financial aid to cover. So about 30% of our families currently receive financial aid. So the deadline to apply is the same as our admission deadline, so it makes it easy, January 15th. And then we also, at the exact same time, will give you, if you applied for aid, a financial aid decision notification. If you have any questions about specific financial aid questions, you can also email our Forting Web address, and then we can have one of our senior associate directors or myself get back to you. Clarity actually also does a lot of really great webinars throughout the fall on applying for financial aid. So for those of you that are looking at lots of other schools too, hopefully, that it's a really seamless process, but they'll help you walk through some of the forms that you'll need to do. And so, like Holly said, next steps, reach out to us if you have questions, to schedule an interview or set up a visit. We will also have summer tours available starting right after graduation. So if that's something you're interested, if you're coming to the area from out of state or a different part of the country or here local in Claremont, if you want to come to campus for a tour, I'd love to meet you. On our website, we will start updating lots of events that we have. Holly plans a lot of the events in our office, and so there'll be lots of different opportunities throughout the fall to come to campus. We also have a big open house. You can put on your calendar now, November 14th. It's a Saturday, or it's called Discover Web. And it's a really great program because our faculty, our students are all out, academic programs, our head of school. I mean, everyone is there to welcome you and to help you learn more about web. And so it's a great program if you have some time on that Saturday to stop by, and you'll get lots of information about this. And then stay connected with us. We're always going to post really fun things on Instagram to follow what's happening at the school, or on YouTube. I think it's a great way to get to know the culture of the school, to kind of follow some of our social media. But as Holly said, if you have questions, you can definitely reach out to us now, even if it's a small question. Happy to, get you in the right direction as you start thinking about the exciting opportunities at Webb. There's so many wonderful things. And also coming to the museum for those of you that live locally, or maybe you live far away, but you're thinking about coming to Webb and you're like, wow, I would love to visit the museum. Please do that. I think we get excited because, we love getting to know families and helping you discover Webb and if this is a good match for you. So we would love to keep in contact with you. So reach out if you have any questions.
Great. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next time.